Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to start my reading vlog for week 4 in October, and as you can see it's already late. It is currently Friday and the day didn't go so well. I had a week off and today was my first day back at work, and unfortunately a lot of things didn't go as planned and it was just a really shitty day to say the least. I hope that I can get a lot of this resolved on Monday, but I just was not in the mood to pick up the camera earlier. I did do some workouts when I got home and that really helped with my mood, and then we also ordered some Indian food, which I always love, and I love food that has like all of the mango in it, so it was amazing and glorious. But my SD card for my camera was full, so I didn't film it. I'm a shitty vlogger today, and that's alright. Daily vlogging in October is sometimes a little bit of a struggle as well. But let me tell you what I'm currently reading in case you haven't watched last week's vlog. So my main read currently is House of Leaves, and I am a good way through, I think about 160 pages, but I've also read a little bit of the back of the book already, and I have now entered the parts where the weird formatting starts, so I think reading will go a bit quicker now. But basically this is a very, very complex book, very freaky. It follows a guy called John, and he was called by his friend to come over because his neighbor has died. It's a little bit complex, but the friend's neighbor has died and they're in his flat and they find a manuscript, which is basically like an academic text about a movie, but the movie never existed. And you are reading this academic text, but then also notes of John, and yeah, it's just, as I said, very, very complex, very hard to explain, but a very unique reading experience as well, and I'm very much enjoying it so far. I'm reading this for the Tome Topple because this is definitely a lot of work, but as I said, also very entertaining so far. The other book I'm somewhat reading is this collection of ghost stories by Henry James. I've read the first 2 so far, so I'm not that far into it yet. And so far I'm also not really loving it, but I'm mainly reading this for Turn of the Screw, so I hope that one will at least be amazing because I love The Haunting of Bly Manor, and that took a lot of inspiration from Henry James. And for my audiobook, I'm currently listening to The Haunting of Leigh Harker by Darcy Coates. I think almost 50% through now, so I'm pretty sure I will finish it this week. And the beginning is very much a straightforward haunted house story. You're immediately thrown into the situation of the haunting, but then around 4 hours in there is a plot twist, and now the tone has shifted a lot, so I'm quite intrigued to see where it goes, because right now it has lost a little bit of that haunting feeling. The first 4 hours were very, very creepy, but now it's more plotty and it's struggling a bit to find the balance, you know, between creepy and plotty. So we'll see whether it can regain its footing a little bit, and I'll keep you updated on that. For now, it's Friday night. My partner is currently doing his sports stuff, so I have a little bit more time to read, and I will read House of Leaves. And then hopefully tomorrow I can give you an update where I look a little bit fresher.
Nom, 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 nom.
So it is Saturday. I don't think I did a real update today, so sorry. It's just been a very chill day. I have done all of my cleaning that I usually do on the weekend, and I have made some more progress in House of Leaves. I am now on the part where the formatting gets quite freaky. Oh, let me check. I'm currently 318 pages in, and it's definitely the appeal of the story is definitely the formatting and how the formatting of the text corresponds with what's happening in the book, and I really do enjoy that. I'm still not quite sure about the storyline itself, especially the footnote storyline is still very hazy. You don't really know whether you can believe the character or whether he's even coherent with what he's saying and stuff like that. But yeah, the appeal of the book is definitely in the formatting and the effect that this has on your reading experience. And yeah, it's definitely impacting me a lot. Like, the reading experience is definitely causing some physical feelings as well, which is quite interesting. Apart from that, I've listened to more of my audiobook. I'm now 4.5 hours from the end, so I have almost listened to around 60%, I would say, and it's very plotty now. I think I've said that before, and it is intriguing. I've been flying through it now that the plot twist happened, but I feel like the creepy parts are now gone, which is kind of sad. So yeah, we'll see whether the last third will find the balance. And yeah, that's been my reading. Right now we're baking some bread to have for dinner, and then we're gonna do some late night swimming today, which I'm very excited about. I hope that there will be room in the pool area thing, whatever you call it in English, because they currently have a restriction how many people can enter, and this afternoon it was completely full, but I think for the late night swimming there will probably be more space. We'll see. I hope so. But yeah, that's it. Not a very eventful day, and I just feel like, the everyday vlogging is starting to get to me a little bit, so I hope that I will make this an interesting vlog nonetheless and kind of find my footing again. Last week I had off work, so that was easier. Now I just feel like the next week, starting on Monday, it's gonna be super busy, so we'll see how the vlog does. But I'll definitely keep you updated on my books. So it is Sunday today. The swimming yesterday was amazing, and now we just have a very chill day ahead of us, where hopefully I will read a lot of House of Leaves. So we'll see how that goes. So I made it to chapter 20 in House of Leaves. I'm very close to the end of the actual story part, and then there's the appendices. In these last chapters that I've read now, it talks a lot about a picture that actually made the fictional photographer Navidson, who this movie that doesn't exist is about, very famous, and he won a Pulitzer Prize for it. And it talks a lot about that picture and about the feelings that the photographer in this book has about it. And what I think is interesting, and where this book manages to always preach into reality a little bit, is that this picture actually exists. It is a picture that won the Pulitzer Prize in 1996, I believe. It's not a happy picture. It's a very, very horrible picture in the sense that it shows something horrible, not that it's badly done. And I really like the discussion in this book about this picture and what is art, and also the feelings of this photographer talks about, and how that relates to him being in this haunted house or whatever it is. I just really like that this book always manages to bridge that gap, to incorporate stuff that is real into this narrative that is fictional on two levels. So it's definitely fictional because House of Leaves as a book is fictional, but then also because even in the world of this book, the discussion of this movie is fictional because that movie does not exist. And it's very meta, but I'm enjoying that a lot. I don't really know why people say it's the scariest book. I think this book is very immersive. It's one of those books that you just fall into, especially after reading the first couple of chapters and getting a feel for it. You just delve into it and you drown in it, and you can lose yourself in it, which for some people might be a scary experience. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's definitely very interesting reading experience, even though I don't think it's scary per se. And I just really like these discussions. And I mean, this seems like a book that would be interesting to discuss with others. And at the same time, I always find myself at a loss for words talking about it. So it's definitely something that will stick with me. That's for sure. So the next chapter will be one where the text is kind of crazy again and not really adhering to a normal page. So I think that one should be quite fast, and I think it's only like 2 or 3 more chapters. I'm not quite sure. I think 3. So yeah, very close to the end now. So it is Monday morning and I'm off to work. I still have 2.5 chapters left in House of Leaves and the appendices, so I'm not quite sure whether I will finish it tonight, but I'll try. I started having a really bad migraine last night and it turned really, really bad, so I'm currently surviving on painkillers. And I dreamt of the house. Not only that, I had like tons of nightmares, but some of them were about the house, and that was very weird. But yeah, this book is definitely having an impact on me. Also, we started watching the 3rd episode of Penny Dreadful, and no, this 3rd season. And last night we watched the 4th episode before going to bed, and that one is also one that gives you a lot of material for nightmares, especially if you're a woman. So, yeah, not the best start into the week, but, you know, you just get going, I guess. So I was really lucky that I could do my work today and my laptop arrived, but the migraine didn't really go away. It's still not gone completely, so I just went home quite early and then spent the whole day in bed. So yeah, migraine day. Woohoo! So it's Tuesday. I can't believe it's already the last week of October now. It's so sad. I have survived the migraine even though it was really, really bad this time. And I still feel quite weak and just not tired, but just not very well. So today I'm gonna work from home. Unfortunately, my laptop has returned, so I can work from home. And I think I'm just gonna do a very slow day. I think later on I will continue reading House of Leaves. We'll see whether I'm ready for the end of that. But yeah, it's just like, when just one complete day is gone, it's just very annoying. So it's now Tuesday evening. I did my cooking video, I edited it, uploaded it, replied to all of the comments and stuff. I did the pumpkin cinnamon buns this week, which is very, very exciting recipe. I still have a little bit of trouble with eating after my migraine attack, so I've been struggling a little bit with that. But I think now I have about an hour to read before I want to go to bed. The cat is looking at me. She doesn't like it when I talk to the camera. But I'm still a bit hesitant to finish House of Leaves because that is what I did last before I got this really bad migraine. I know that it has nothing to do with it, but yeah, I don't know. My brain's just weird, so I will try to read House of Leaves now, and I'll keep you updated. So, good morning. It is Wednesday today, so 2 days left for this vlog. And last night I finally finished House of Leaves. This is definitely a chunker of a book, and it took me a good week to read it because last week I had off, so I had more time for reading, which was great. I decided to give it 4 stars in the end. This is a book that is very, very hard to put into a rating. I think it's definitely very unique. It's not a reading experience that I ever had before, even though I know there's similar books to this one out there. It definitely made me feel things because of the way it was written, but not necessarily because of the story. I did really like the movie that was analyzed in this book, and I did like how some things were real. So for example, I talked about the picture, the photograph that won the Pulitzer Prize, which is actually a real picture, and how this kind of combines the real and the fictional. I did not really care for Johnny's story. I just feel like it was very rambly and it just had a lot of sex and drugs, which is just not something I'm interested in at all. I do like reading from less privileged perspectives, but I don't like it when it delves too deep into like drugs and sex. It's just not something that I enjoy reading or that I'm interested in, so that was a little bit of a bummer. And as I said, these bits were also like always very rambly, so it was oftentimes very hard to follow, and that is obviously on purpose. Like, that's the way this character is. But still, I just didn't really care. So that was one thing. I also didn't feel like the connection of the two stories was too great. There's this one chapter towards the end where Johnny does kind of a trip through Virginia, and I felt like if there would have been anything substantial coming from that, it might have been a bit more interesting. But with Johnny, you just really never know what's real at all, and he plays with that as well. So no matter what he would have done, you would always have that moment of like, is that real or did he just make it up? So yeah, I didn't feel like these two storylines that you're reading in this book came together as well as I wanted them to. Still, I really enjoyed this play with reality. So overall, I decided to give it 4 stars. Definitely a unique experience, and if you want to read it, I would recommend. For the people that say that this is the scariest book, it's definitely not. It's not really scary at all. I mean, obviously the ideas are wild that are discussed in this, but it's not scary and it's not a haunted house tale. I would say it is more disturbing because it plays with that reality. So it makes you question things that normally you would not question. But yeah, that's my thoughts on a whim. Glad that I finished that. And now there's not too much left, less than a week in October. And the Tome Topple is still going on. This was my first book for Tome Topple. And now I am in a little bit of a hard decision-making process because I'm not quite sure what to read next. So there's 2 books that I'm contemplating right now. Let me show you. So these are the 2 books that are a possibility. I really want to try The Wicked Deep because I think this one will have to go back to the library very, very soon. But then I also really want to read The Deathless Divide. I read Dread Nation a couple of days ago, and I really want to read the second book. And this is a tome. It is over 500 pages, but it is very easy to fly through. So there would be a potential that I finish this for Tome Topple if I start it now, depending on how the weekend goes. But I also really want to try The Wicked Deep, and this is only like 300 and some pages, I think. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. So I'll decide that later. So today I will work from home again because I'm waiting for a very important package that should arrive during the noon time, and I'm very, very excited about that. So it is 1:30 in the afternoon, and I survived my first meeting, which is great. I will have another one in half an hour, but I decided what my next book will be, and I think I'm gonna start it right now. And I decided to go with Deathless Divide. I mean, with this one, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be 5 stars as well, or at least 4.5, so why would I read another book where I'm not quite sure how I like it if I can read this, where I'm pretty sure I love it? So this is also a tome, so it will count for Tome Topple. So if I finish it before the week is over, I will have finished 2 tomes, which would be very impressive for me personally. So I just did my workout and I'm now 50 pages into Deathless Divide. I think the beginning is very interesting in this one because the first one was one perspective, but this is dual perspective. So we follow the main character of the first book, Jane, but then we also start to follow Catherine. And I think that is an interesting choice. I do like that Jane's voice and the way her chapters are structured are still very similar to the first book. But then with Catherine, you have a very distinct style. Her chapters are done in a different way. And also, I feel like it's interesting to now get a look into Catherine's mind. She seems to be an ace character and also struggle with anxiety. I've only read 2 chapters, I think, from her perspective now, or even one. No, even one. Sorry. But yeah, so she's definitely a very, very interesting perspective to read about as well. So yeah. glad to read more of this. We already had a new reveal that isn't like major, but it just keeps the story going, even though we have this kind of like travel situation now. I don't want to spoil the ending of the first book, but sometimes when you have this like huge thing happening at the end of the first book, then it takes a while to get back into the swing of things. But I feel like it bridges that gap quite well, and yeah, I'm just excited to read more. So the lighting is quite difficult right now, as you can see, but it is Thursday, the last day of this vlog, and it is already quite late. I had trouble getting out of bed today, but I'm going to head out to the office in a second. Last night I managed to read the first 100 pages in Deathless Divide, and as I said before, we get thrown right back into the story. There is a huge tragedy happening within the first 70 pages, which is a choice. And also the chapter that I ended with last night had a bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm interested to see how it goes. Apart from that, I stand by what I said yesterday, that I really like getting Catherine's perspective as well, and that I'm just really intrigued to see where this book goes. Apart from that, I have now 2 hours left of my audiobook, The Haunting of Leigh Harker, and by now I can definitely say that this book is just too long. There's just not enough happening. Maybe I will finish it tonight or maybe tomorrow. I would love to finish it tonight and give you my final thoughts in this vlog, but we'll see. It's just repetitive and not really scary a lot of the times. And it's just not an audiobook that I pick up enthusiastically. And that's kind of sad. I really wanted to love this book, but for now I think it's maybe a 3.5 star, depending on the end now. But yeah, I'm a little bit sad about that. I really wanted to love that book. So yeah, last day of this vlog. Let's go. Almost halfway through this now, and it's so good. I will give you a proper update tomorrow, but I love this. So this is the end of this vlog. I managed to read up to page 250 last night in Deathless Divide, and this is almost like halfway through. This book is not holding back. It's so high stakes, and yeah, it's just trouble. It's amazing. Definitely nothing you can put down. And I'm very excited to read the rest of this for the last October vlog and let you know how it ends. Obviously spoiler free. And then I also finished my audiobook, The Haunting of Leigh Harker, last night. Unfortunately, that one was quite the disappointment. I decided to give it 3 stars. It was just not good. It was just not good. The beginning, like the first third maybe, is definitely horror, but it doesn't really have any plot. It's just like creepy scenes stacked together. And then after that, you get a plot, but it's almost like a mystery book then, and the mystery is just not good. It's super predictable. Like, you can guess from the name of this book what it is about. And also, I thought that the ending doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm gonna do a tiny spoiler bit here. So if you don't want to spoil it, just, you know, see you soon. But, like, literally, an 87-year-old man did all that? Like, I do not believe it. My grandpa turned 85, I think, and he could not do this kind of stuff. And he probably had a much healthier life. Who cares? Okay, so that's it for this vlog. I will do one more for the last couple of days and Halloween, obviously. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like or a nice comment if you did, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!